Hey, check out this forbidden journey my friends go on, tempted by some hidden beauty. But things go south fast, and they're in for a scary ride. Will they face the eerie whispers from the deep, or be lost to the ancient secrets underground? Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment for love and support. Listen to the entire story. Let's start. The old Ford Ranger rumbled down the deserted desert highway, its headlights cutting through the inky blackness. Inside, four friends, faces illuminated by the dashboard glow, belted out a tired rendition of a classic road trip song. There was Maya, the fearless leader, navigating with a beat-up map, Liam, the joker, cracking jokes to keep the mood light, Sarah, the cautious one, constantly checking the rear-view mirror, and Ethan, the quiet observer, soaking it all in. Their destination, Skull Creek National Park, a remote Californian haven rumored to hold hidden waterfalls and breathtaking views. It was the off-season, and the park was officially closed, but these friends, fueled by a thirst for adventure, decided to take a chance. As dusk settled, casting long, ominous shadows, Maya took a wrong turn, lured by a faded sign promising a shortcut. The paved road gave way to a rutted dirt track, the GPS signal fading with every passing mile. The car lurched and swayed, kicking up dust devils that danced in the dying light. Hours crawled by, punctuated by nervous laughter and growing unease. Strange sounds echoed in the desolate landscape, coyote howls that seemed too close, the unsettling rustle of unseen creatures in the brush. Then, they saw it, a dilapidated gas station, its windows boarded up, a single creaking pump standing sentinel like a skeletal hand. Desperate for fuel and a sense of direction, they pulled in. Sarah, the first to step out, felt a prickle of unease as the wind whipped around the abandoned station, carrying with it the faint metallic tang of blood. Her unease turned to terror when she spotted a crumpled figure lying near the rusty pump, its lifeless hand clutching a crumpled map eerily similar to hers. Panic erupted. Maya screeched the car into reverse, but the engine sputtered and died. Trapped. They were surrounded by the endless desert, night closing in, and a growing sense of being watched. Footsteps, heavy and deliberate, crunched on the gravel. From the darkness emerged figures, hulking silhouettes, their faces obscured by the gloom. One held a crude torch, casting an eerie orange glow. They spoke in a guttural language, their voices raw and menacing. A desperate struggle ensued. Liam, his face bloodied, managed to hotwire the car. Sarah, fighting back tears, threw the car into gear. They tore away, the figures in hot pursuit, their guttural shouts echoing in the night. The friends drove through the darkness, adrenaline coursing through their veins. They didn't know where they were going, just that they needed to get away. Dawn arrived, painting the sky with streaks of pink and orange, but it offered little comfort. The landscape stretched on endlessly, offering no sign of escape. Finally, they stumbled upon another road, this one wider, smoother, with faint signs of civilization. Relief washed over them, but it was short-lived. As they reached the top of a hill, they saw it, a roadblock. But these weren't police officers. The same figures, their faces now illuminated by the rising sun, stood armed with makeshift weapons, blocking their path. The car screeched to a halt, dust swirling around it. Maya turned to her friends, her eyes wide with fear. They were trapped, surrounded by a force they couldn't understand. As the figures approached, their faces contorted in a chilling mix of rage and desperation, the friends braced themselves for the unknown. As the figures closed in, a guttural chant rose from their throats, echoing across the desolate landscape. Liam, ever the fighter, shoved the rusty car door open, his face etched with a desperate resolve. "Run!" he screamed, charging out with reckless abandon. Sarah, paralyzed with fear, stared at him, then at Maya and Ethan. Their eyes mirrored her terror. With a choked sob, she followed Liam, the others close behind. They sprinted across the barren wasteland, the figure's guttural chant growing ever louder, their heavy footsteps pounding the ground behind them. The sun, now high in the sky, offered no comfort, only a harsh glare that blurred their vision and baked the earth beneath their feet. The ground seemed to stretch on forever, offering no shelter, no escape. Sarah's lungs burned, her legs ached, and her vision swam. She could hear Liam's ragged breaths faltering, Ethan's silent determination weakening. Just as hope dwindled to a flicker, they stumbled upon an abandoned mining shaft, its gaping maw a dark, foreboding entrance. Without a second thought, they plunged into the cool, damp darkness, the figure's chilling chant momentarily fading behind. The air inside was thick with dust and the smell of decay. As their eyes adjusted to the gloom, they saw a network of tunnels branching out like the veins of a monstrous creature. Sarah, her voice barely a whisper, suggested they split up, hoping to confuse their pursuers. They crept deeper into the labyrinthine tunnels, the silence broken only by the dripping of water and their own ragged breaths. Each rustle, each creaking sound, sent shivers down their spines. Suddenly, a scream ripped through the silence, echoing eerily in the confined space. It was Maya. Panic surged through them. Following the sound, they found her, surrounded by the figures. The men spoke in their guttural language, their voices filled with a terrifying glee. Just as a figure raised a crude weapon, a deafening roar echoed through the tunnels. The ground trembled, sending dust raining down. In the ensuing chaos, the figures momentarily looked away, their attention drawn to the source of the sound. Seizing the opportunity, Liam lunged forward, tackling the figure closest to Maya. A struggle ensued, their grunts and shouts filling the tunnel. Sarah, Ethan, and Maya, driven by a desperate need to survive, fought their way past the remaining figures, deeper into the darkness. The tunnel narrowed, forcing them to crawl. As they pushed forward, the roaring sound grew louder, accompanied by a faint glimmer of light flickering in the distance. With renewed hope, they pressed on, the fate of their friend and their own survival hanging in the balance. They emerged, blinking in the blinding sunlight, into a vast cavern. The source of the roar became evident, a colossal drilling machine gnawed at the heart of the cavern, its churning gears and rumbling engine filling the air with a cacophony of noise. Panic momentarily gave way to confusion. Who were these people operating the machine? Were they accomplices of the figures, or something else entirely? Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows near the drill. Tall and cloaked, their face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat, they spoke in a voice that was surprisingly calm in the midst of the chaos. "Lost, are you?" their voice echoed in the cavern. "We weren't expecting visitors." Sarah, regaining her composure, stepped forward. "Who are you? Where is our friend?" she demanded, her voice trembling slightly. The figure tilted their head, a chilling smile playing on their lips. "Liam." He made an interesting discovery. They gestured towards a metallic cage dangling precariously from the drill's arm. Inside, Liam lay unconscious, strapped to a chair, a strange device strapped to his chest. The figure continued, their voice gaining an unsettling intensity. "We delve deep, seeking answers. Answers the surface world isn't ready for. Perhaps you can help us interpret them." A wave of dread washed over Sarah, Ethan, and Maya. These weren't mere fanatics guarding their territory, they were driven by a purpose far more unsettling. What secrets lay hidden beneath the earth? And what fate awaited them if they were deemed unsuitable for the interpretation? As the drill whined back to life, gears grinding and sparks flying, the figure extended a gloved hand towards them. "Will you join us?" they asked, their smile growing wider. "Or become part of the answer?" Sarah stared at the figure, its smile both chilling and strangely inviting. Liam, unconscious and strapped in the metal cage, looked terrifyingly fragile. The ground trembled beneath their feet as the drill rumbled back to life. Fear and desperation clawed at her, but an unyielding flicker of defiance burned brightly in her eyes. "No," she said, her voice surprisingly steady. "We're not here for your answers. We just want to get out of here." Ethan and Maya stood beside her, their faces resolute, mirroring her sentiment. The figure's smile faltered, replaced by a flicker of surprise and perhaps a hint of disappointment. "Foolish choice," they hissed. "The world above is dying. What you seek lies below. Knowledge, power, and perhaps even salvation." Before Sarah could retort, the ground shook violently. A deafening crack echoed through the cavern as a section of the ceiling crumbled, revealing a glimpse of an endless darkness beyond. The figure stumbled back, momentarily distracted, instinct taking over. Sarah yelled, "Run," and the three friends bolted. They sprinted towards the tunnel entrance, the roar of the collapsing cavern growing louder behind them. Debris rained down, chasing them like hungry phantoms. They reached the tunnel just as its entrance caved in, a shower of rocks and dust sealing their exit. Panting and terrified, they huddled together in the darkness, the silence broken only by their ragged breaths and the distant rumble of the collapsing cavern. Suddenly, a faint light flickered in the distance. Hope surged through them as they stumbled towards it, finding an abandoned mining cart on a rickety track leading deeper into the darkness. They piled into the cart, Ethan taking charge, pushing the lever that sent them hurtling forward. The track plunged them deeper into the earth, the flickering light revealing tunnels that seemed to stretch on forever. They had escaped the collapsing cavern, but where were they going? And what horrors awaited them in the depths of the earth? As the cart rattled on, the light grew brighter, revealing a massive underground complex carved into the rock. Strange symbols adorned the walls, and the air thrummed with an unsettling energy. They had stumbled upon something far beyond their wildest imaginations, and the true horror had just begun. The ground trembled, the roar of the collapsing cavern like a monstrous yawn. Sarah watched, frozen, as the cloaked figure disappeared beneath the falling debris. With a desperate cry, she turned and sprinted, Ethan and Maya close behind. They raced through the narrowing tunnel, gasping for breath, their hearts hammering against their ribs. Each echoing cough, each falling rock, sent a fresh wave of terror through them. Just as they reached the tunnel's end, a colossal thunderclap sealed the entrance shut, leaving them trapped in the bowels of the earth. Panic threatened to consume them, but Sarah, fueled by a primal urge to survive, forced herself to focus. Her gaze fell upon a crudely carved symbol on the tunnel wall, identical to the symbols etched onto Liam's strange device. Was this a map? A warning? Ethan, ever the pragmatist, spotted a lever embedded in the wall. With trembling hands, he pulled it. A metallic groan filled the air as a hidden door creaked open, revealing a passage lit by flickering torches. Hope, fragile and flickering like the flames, ignited in Sarah's chest. Without a word, they ventured into the unknown. The passage sloped downwards, leading them into a series of cavernous chambers. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of dust and something else. An unsettling, metallic tang that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. As they progressed, the symbols on the walls grew more elaborate, depicting scenes of strange rituals and monstrous creatures. The flickering torchlight cast grotesque shadows that danced on the uneven walls, fueling their paranoia. Suddenly, a chilling moan echoed through the chamber, resonating deep within Sarah's bones. They stood frozen, their eyes darting through the darkness, searching for the source of the sound. Then, from the inky depths of the next chamber, emerged a figure. Tall and emaciated, its pale skin stretched taut over its skeletal frame. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural orange light, and its ragged clothes were adorned with the same symbols they had seen on the walls. The creature opened its mouth, revealing rows of needle-like teeth, and let out a blood-curdling shriek that sent Sarah and the others scrambling back. Panic propelled them forward, adrenaline coursing through their veins. They ran blindly, the creature's horrifying shrieks echoing behind them, until they reached a dead end. A deep chasm yawned before them, seemingly bottomless, trapped. Desperation clawed at Sarah's throat. She turned to face the approaching creature, her heart pounding a frantic tattoo against her ribs. In her hand, she clutched the device from Liam's chest, its purpose still a mystery. The creature lunged, its skeletal hand reaching out to grab Sarah. In a last-ditch effort, she pressed the button on the device. A blinding white light engulfed them, momentarily banishing the darkness. When the light faded, the creature was gone. So were Ethan and Maya. Sarah stood alone on the precipice, the only sound the chilling echo of her own ragged breaths. The story ends with Sarah left alone in the dark, uncertain of her fate, her friends missing, and the source of the horror completely unknown. The audience is left to ponder the open ending, wondering what happened to Sarah and the others, what secrets lie hidden within the caverns, and what caused the terrifying creature to appear. The chilling mystery lingers long after the story concludes, keeping the reader engaged and unsettled. Sarah stumbled out of the collapsed tunnel, blinking in the harsh sunlight. Her body ached, but a flicker of triumph warmed her chest. Her gamble had paid off. Liam stood next to the crumpled metal cage, now unstrapped, a bewildered look on his face. The cloaked figure lay buried beneath the debris, its smile forever frozen in an unsettling grin. "Sarah, what happened?" Liam asked, his voice hoarse. "No time to explain," Sarah said, urging him forward. They sprinted towards the nearest town, the distant rumble of the collapsing cavern a chilling reminder of their narrow escape. Days later, back in civilization, the nightmares started. Sarah dreamt of endless tunnels, grotesque creatures, and the haunting smile of the cloaked figure. The symbols etched on Liam's device became a constant obsession, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a growing sense of responsibility. Sarah and Liam decided to seek answers. They delved deep into forgotten libraries, deciphering ancient texts, and consulting with eccentric scholars. Slowly, a chilling truth emerged. The symbols belonged to a forgotten cult, worshipping a slumbering entity deep within the earth. The collapse, triggered by the figure's excavation, had momentarily disturbed the entity, causing the horrifying creature to awaken. Sarah realized their escape wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. The creature could emerge again, its wrath potentially unleashing unimaginable horrors upon the world. Haunted by this knowledge and fueled by a newfound sense of purpose, Sarah and Liam dedicated their lives to studying the ancient texts, searching for a way to permanently contain the entity. They became unlikely heroes, forever tethered to the darkness they had unwittingly encountered, a constant reminder that some secrets are better left buried. The ending offers a sense of closure while leaving room for continued reflection. Sarah and Liam find a solution, not by defeating the monster, but by containing it, forever burdened by the knowledge they've unearthed. The audience is left to ponder the true cost of knowledge and the responsibility that comes with confronting the darkness, creating a complex and thought-provoking conclusion to the horror story.